Welcome to the rabbit hole, where we go deep, deep into the rabbit hole. We're like-minded me. Welcome to the rabbit hole, the truth we see. There's lizard people everywhere, the conspiracies speak.
Welcome to the rabbit hole, where we go deep, uninvited from the rabbit hole. The weak-minded sheep for the open-minded people, not the little but the weak. Welcome to the rabbit hole. You sure you wanna peek?
We have before us the opportunity to forge a new world order.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
And for future generations,
Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for
a new world order.
Treasure Island.
They never come back. And boy,
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Rabbit Hole Ramblers unite. How's everybody doing? It's a lateness is greatness show. Apologies for the 10 minutes delay. We're just trying to sync up some issues at the backstage and all that sort of thing. But we're here, the three of us. Return of the Mac, Return of the Jedi. Teflon John is back on the show, people. Ra-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's the awesome... No, I was going to say the awesome foursome. It's not. It's the terrible trio. These are the three amigos. D'Artagnan, no, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. We're going to go down the... Alvin, Simon, Theodore. We're going back to the old school. We're bringing it back. This was like back in the day when the show was called, I'm not saying it's Aliens, but it's Aliens. Back on Sean Butler TV. We're here. Lateness is greatness. Unbelievable last minute effort. Big up to you all. Smash the granny out of the like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Notification buttons on this channel. Notification buttons need to be squeezed because you're probably not going to get notified because the rabbit hole goes deep. And they'd rather keep you shallow. They would rather keep you shallow and grey over the eyes. The whole 50 shades of it. Yeah, not here. We go deep. We go deep. Big up to everyone in the house. Comments should be dropped as always. By the way, I've never seen Nikos dancing. I don't think he realizes that when I press the go live button and the intro music comes in, I can see at the bottom of my screen. I can see the cameras of everyone. So Nikos is sitting there.
Love it. In my head, I think of the drum and bass version. I think about the sped up version. So I'm like playing it like extra fast in my head. You know, like I love it. It's the best intro on YouTube. Best intro on YouTube.
I might need to get some other intros because it's a perfect genre to create some cracking tunes for the rabbit holers. Nikos, I'll start with you, mate. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. You okay?
Good, mate. I would say we're more like the Three Stooges. The greatest threesome on YouTube. But yeah, mate, really good. Thank you. Had a nice weekend. I was quite pleased to see a spontaneous message there. Always available if I can be. So I love talking conspiracy. It's like what gets my juices flowing. So nice having Teflon back available, you available, the chat available. Sunday night. I've got no beers though. The supermarkets are closed today. So I'm on tea and water, which is a bit
Why
sad.
are the supermarkets closed?
It's Spain, mate. You know, Sunday, like remember how we used to be like in the UK, like in the 1990s? It's like that here. So like when you go to the supermarkets,
well, I'll chalk Spain off my future residence list. Then we were speaking about this a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I want to buy some land somewhere, grow some grapes, grow some vineyards, whatever. Get a donkey. And you're like, mate, get yourself out to rural Spain. There's loads of places. I didn't know there was no supermarkets on a Sunday. How's a guy like me supposed to survive? And if you say just buy all your beer on Saturday to get you over the weekend, that's not how I work, mate. If it's in the house, it's getting drunk. I have to go every day to buy just my allotment of alcohol. Otherwise, I'll never go to sleep and I'll just
Well, I kind of appreciate it. I kind of appreciate it. It's like a religious day here. Like, obviously, it's a real Catholic country, so that everything's like super religious. So today is like
For now, it's a Catholic country, mate. For now.
well, for now, yeah. Well, it's one of the more Catholic ones, but they do like having like today is like across the board. It's the Lord's Day, day of rest, and that includes everybody. So yeah, it's very few things that are open today. There are a few places you can probably go and pick up some beers, but I was sort of thinking, oh, let me go and do the shopping on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and I'll top up beers, whatever. But didn't think to do it today. So anyway,
maybe if I do get out there and buy a place where I can grow some vineyards, then I can just go and get a barrel and just.
yeah,
You know?
there's a business idea for you, mate. Set up a brewery that's open on Sundays. Set up a delivery service selected for alcohol and cigarettes on Sundays. You make a fortune.
Mate, do you know when I was about 16, I went to my brother's university. He went to Nottingham. He was a couple of years older than me. Sorry, before I bring that story in, how rude of me. Teflon John, my man, how are you, buddy? Return of the Jedi, mate. It's good to see you, mate.
Oh, good, thanks, Sean. Good to see you two guys as well. How are you?
Good, mate. Always good. Always good when we're doing a ramble. Always good, mate. And I haven't drunk today either. So usually by the time it's 10 o'clock comes around and we're doing the show, I'm already long about 5 or 6 beers or ciders or whatever else, or a couple of magnums or something, and it gets sloppy real quick. But I haven't had any. I've literally just cracked open my first bottle, so 0 alcohol inside me. So let's see if we can get some sense out of me, and you guys, we can go in a certain direction. Certain direction.
Same. It won't be so invitational.
But so I was in Nottingham University with my brother, and they had this company called the Booze Brothers, and this was like 2001, right? So very early, before iPhones, before any of that stuff. But you'd phone these people up, and they bring out, I think it was like £3 pizzas at any time, 24 hours a day. Because obviously it's a big university town, so they would have like you go, oh, can you send over two large Hawaiian pizzas and a box of Reef, vodka and orange bottles, or a box of Bacardi Breezers, or 24 cans of Carlsberg. It was just, and they'd be there. They'd beat your door in 25 minutes with, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. I was like, what an idea, and what a name for a company as well, by the way, the Booze Brothers. I mean, it's just absolutely sensational. That was before you had to have like probably alcohol licenses and all sorts as well. Then Tate came in
until you mentioned Hawaiian, which is bloody pineapple on pizzas.
Didn't want to say it.
Totally wrong.
Blasphemous.
Totally wrong.
Yeah. So actually, on that particular subject, has anyone tried?
We're going to have our first argument, John. Here,
Yeah.
Hawaiian pizza is
pizza, not Pizzagate.
No, we're in entire agreement there.
On that subject, has anyone ever tried pear on a pizza?
No. Is that nice?
There's a restaurant here where I live. It's the only restaurant in town that is completely sold out every single day of the week, and their speciality is a certain type of cheese with pear on the pizza, and it's like got the best reviews of all of Barcelona.
Free.
I've never tried it. I've always like, I'm against the pineapple.
New age pizza.
I don't know. It's one of those new gimmicky things. But if anyone's in the chat tried a pear pizza before, I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Because
do they call it pizza?
Nah, it's not something cheesy like that. It's an Italian.
Come on, John. That's like, come on now. Easiest layup in the world, and you're putting your head in your hand, Johnny boy. Come on now, pizza. Get yourself a pizza.
Get some of that drink down you.
Come on now. No one in the chat's even giving me any love for that one. What are we doing here? Well,
you know what pineapple means, don't you, on cruise ships?
No, is it an orgy or something?
Yeah, that sort of thing. Like wife swapping, partner swapping.
I'm in.
Let's change Antarctic Fun to a cruise ship with pineapples.
What are you going to offer though? Bugsy is the swap.
A YouTube channel.
I can be the head and I can be the tail. How about that?
We've got a YouTube channel in the pot.
Yeah.
I'll see your wife. I'll raise your YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll live stream it. I'll be in the background.
I'll you have a channel for your smoking hot Russian wife.
Well, this is what we were trying to do. This is what we're trying to do on the Spurs Talk Show. Was it on here? or was it on Spurs Talk Show? We were trying to afford some. Maybe on Spurs Talk Show. So I said any super chats for the next 2 weeks go towards, if we can get a fund together, we'll get some dancing girls in the background. Just stand there and look pretty, just doing some dancing to some imaginary music. But it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Just pineapple on their cups here, and Anyway, this show's gone off on a rant already, on a wild one. I don't know where we're going. This is what happens when I'm sober. This is what happens when I'm sober. Like Adderall makes people that don't have ADHD fucking become superhuman, and it makes people that have got ADHD calm down. It has like that inverse effect.
You tried it?
Adderall?
Yeah.
I almost like, reinvented the wheel when I did Adderall. I went to New York, and when I moved there, and everybody at Google was like on Adderall. Everybody. And I walking in, and I could see everyone taking these pills. Like, what are you doing? Wait, what's that? And I was off my Adderall prescription, and I was like, how'd you get an Adderall prescription in the UK? That sort of, they don't even have license. They don't license Adderall here, but they have similar products. And I was like, in the UK, you have to request a psychiatric appointment first, and that takes like 3-4 years on the wait list, and then maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. Yada yada yada. Over there, there's just like doctors that you just go to and say, yeah, I'm a little bit scatty, I'm a little bit like distracted. Oh, no problem, bro. We'll just give you a prescription. So I went to Atlantic City with this guy and a few other boys for like a gambling weekend.
Atlantic City.
Yeah, fucking great time down Atlantic City, right? Like it's like the Las Vegas of the East, but it's a poor man's version. It's like a real shithole. And these guys gave me a couple of Adderalls. I felt like I was counting cards, mate. I felt like I was sitting there. I could see the algorithms in front of me. I was like, I am so dialed in. I'm so dialed into everything. I can see everything that's going on around me. I felt it's actually powerful stuff, but the come down off Adderall is fucking horrendous, mate.
That's actually given me an idea, a video we can share with everyone.
Okay. Go find it.
Shall I go and find it?
Yeah, go find it. Well, in the meantime, let's get our big up to the chat. Who's in the chat? We've got some moderators in the chat. We've got a new member of the show already. Harmless Potatoes coming in as a new member. Big up to the Rabbit Hole Rambler. Big up. I'm not sure if you're part of the reptilians or part of the aliens, but either way, mate, big up to you, Harmless Potato. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Big up to you, my man. Very cool, very cool. At some point, we have to do member shows again. We started doing it, and then we sort of had a breather from it, didn't we? Let's get into it, guys. Don't forget to smash the like. Also, let me quickly https youtube.com/tinfoil transmission. You know what to do, guys. You know what to do. Subscribe to my man Nikos's channel. He's going down the rabbit hole as well, but he's doing it via a name called Tinfoil Transmission. There is the link. Click on it. Make sure you smash the sub. Get you up to what you're on now, 130, 100 and something subscribers.
Mate, honestly, I don't look at it. Don't even look at it. I literally do the video, pop it out, and then I'll reply to the comments that come on the channel and stuff. But I don't go in really into the analytics and look at the movement of stuff. Before, there's no point, because you can't get to. There's no sort of real purpose until you get to like 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time or whatever. So I'm just focused on just being available, doing as many sort of shows as I can, popping out some decent content, and we'll just see where it goes. There's no point in sort of watching it, because I know a lot of like YouTubers, when they start, they get really like edgy with one subscriber who unsubscribes and one that gets added. And it's just like
just build the content and they will come, mate. Build the content and they will come. Let's do a video, guys, shall we? I'll bring up yours, John, in a second, mate. Let's have a look, see where we're going with this one. Not sure. There might be some Epstein stuff here again today.
Oh, God. What does that mean? This is from June 6, 2011, from Tom Pritzker of the billionaire Pritzker family, one of the richest families in the world, to Jeffrey Epstein. I am in a remote valley of Afghanistan, and then in parentheses, it's my birthday wish. With boys with toys. Oh my God. Spent time with Petraeus, referring to General Petraeus, yesterday, and he loaned me a chopper. Actually 2, with one as a backup. Can't call till tomorrow. Now, I don't want to believe that means what I think it means, but we all know, it's been well documented in this studio by our friends who are Tier 1 operators in Afghanistan, what goes on in Afghanistan as it relates to young boys. Oh, dude. These people are just saying it on email.
Now, I'm not sure what he's referring to, but I think it's one of two things. I know in Afghanistan there is definitely that sort of thing where the locals, like, they make the little boys dance around in like female kind of sexual dances, and then basically go and like have their way with the boys, like very very awful stuff. But it also might be referring to like hunting parties. And he's saying he's got like where we hired a chopper, we've got a spare one just in case. You know, boys with toys might mean
Guns.
and things, right? And it might just mean like, you know, all of the hunting party stuff. That was all true, wasn't it? We're not sure if it's true or not, but it's been spoken about for fucking decades and decades and decades, going back to like that castle. I forget the castle that was in Belgium, where all of the wealthy social elites and royal families and that. I forget the name of the castle. I'm sure one of it we can find out in a minute, or someone in the chat can refresh my memory. But they would have all these. They would basically let the kids out and then go, right, there's 6 of you. You know, 4 of you are gonna, 2 of you are gonna survive, 4 of you are gonna, you know, go. So you run basically, and then they would give them like a 5-minute head start. And then there's been movies made about that shit, right? Yeah. So I don't know which one of those two it could be referring to, but I think it's one of those two things, probably, allegedly.
I think the latter, probably more than likely. I think the hunting.
It's fucked up, man.
It's fucked. That's big business, mate. It's big business work. Big business. Like you said, there's been loads of movies about it over the last like 20 years. I remember I watched one of the movies like 20 years ago, where there was like a game where they was all betting on it and stuff, weren't they? You know, you had to pay £1 million to get into the game or whatever, and it's fucked.
So bad. Johnny boy?
Yeah, it sounds like he's hinting at that, doesn't it? But without making it too obvious.
Do you remember that? Who was the blonde woman who was like a survivor? She was like she was part of the MK Ultra thing. She was been like David Icke interviewed her, like everyone's interviewed her and stuff. I forget her name, but she said that when she was a child in like the 60s, that she was at those hunting parties in the forests and in the woodlands and things around. She was sent over to Europe to participate, and that she survived 2 or 3 of them. I mean, she must be a bloody good runner in the woods or whatever to go away. I part of me like hopes that it's not true, and that it's just crazy people that are just, you know, inventing stories, and then because they need to stay relevant, they'll come up with new ways to sound outlandish. But I wouldn't put it past these people at all, man. These people are not human, in my opinion. The people at the top, they're driven by things that the rest of us just go, what? Why would you do that? You know.
Have you guys seen that Soundgarden video? You know, the group Soundgarden that was fronted by Chris Cornell, who was apparently offed, wasn't he, when he was allegedly going to come out with information about trafficking and so on.
Yeah, that's right. He unalived himself, didn't he? But it was very suspicious.
His security man couldn't get into his hotel room when he was playing a gig. And then they found him. They eventually got into the room and they found him in the bath.
And his mate, the other one from the other group was also unalived, right? Or Chester thing, yeah. Chester Pennington, was it?
Yeah, that's who they reckon is Podesta's son, don't they? Because they're very, very similar looking. But that video, that Soundgarden video, blow up the outside world, that's really MK Ultra sort of themed. We should play a little bit of it in a minute.
Of what? Sorry.
That video, blow up the outside world.
You get copy strike.
Is this one of the ones you just sent me, or is that a different one?
No, it's a different one. I think we can play it without the audio, can't we? Play some of it. We won't get a copy strike.
If it's got is it the song, the sound of the song? Is it the song, their song you're talking about?
Yeah, but we don't need the audio. You can just show some of the video.
Yeah, okay. If you can find the link for me. What's these ones you sent me?
So this is I can't remember how it came about, but this guy bought a laser measuring device, you know, which people like estate agents would use, where they put in a room in a house, and they would measure wall-to-wall dimensions.
Yeah.
You got it from Walmart, you know, which is like our B&Q and so on.
Yeah.
And he took some, I think it was DMT, And he got up close to where the laser was crossing on the wall, and he could see which would look like weird coding. It was a mixture of different symbols. Some of them looked like Japanese symbols, you know,
Oh, really?
a variation of different sort of like what he called looking like coding. And he said apparently the nearer he got, it went into the wall. It was like going like 18 inches into the wall.
Okay.
So his theory is that the code is like, you know, what I say, the matrix, and that nothing is actually solid. It's made up of nothing, but it's our minds that perceive it as solid, but it's constructed from literally empty matter. And he said,
Yeah, that works until you close your eyes and try and walk through a wall. You're going to have a headache though, aren't you?
You got to have some DMT as well. Apparently that helps, or well, that Adderall, but
Mate, listen, Adderall changed my life, bro. Like I say, it made me learn how to do music editing. Right, when I was in New York and I had a bit of time on my hands, and like I started getting onto that Adderall stuff. Like I got a prescription or whatever, and because you know me, any other thing, I'll take any other thing. Back in the day, and I remember I was like, I think it was like over Christmas, there was a huge snowstorm or something, and no one could leave. Like it was in New Jersey, like we were all sort of snowed in. And so I taken this stuff and I decided to finally get onto like running Logic, which is like a music software. I always dabbled with it, mucking around with MIDI and my guitars and things, but never really got stuck into it because I was just like, oh, it's too up. But then I just take a couple of those, and then like 36 hours later, I'm just like straight in, learning everything, tutorials, whatever. I was creating some of the coolest. I've still got some of the files somewhere. And whenever I hear them on like an old Spotify playlist, I'm always like, Jesus Christ, I was smashed out of my skull when I made that. And it's actually a fucking cool tune. I was doing remixes of Rihanna. What's the song? Rude Boy. You know that? Come here, Rude Boy. That song. And so I was sort of chopping. I remember sitting there making a song just randomly. And as I walk out for a cigarette, suddenly the Rude Boy song came into my mind. And I was like, randomly came into my mind, and I was like, why would that be in my mind? And I realized that actually that particular song, or the lyrics of that song, would overlay almost perfectly by fortuitous chance to the key in which I'd been making this dubstep track. And it's like, that would never happen in a million years if you were sober. You put that stuff, and all of a sudden your mind just starts like working in random ways. So I went and got that song from Rude Boy by Rihanna, got the a cappella version of it, sort of injected it into the track, and then started chopping it up, and it almost fit perfectly. And I was like, how does that happen? There's no chance that would happen if I was sober or drunk. But that something, a different type of chemical, a different type of thing, and your brain just suddenly like dials into a different frequency, you know?
Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, isn't it? When he said a Jedi feels the Force flowing through him. This would be like a YouTuber feels the Adderall flowing through him.
Inject it into my veins, bro. Inject it, bro.
That's given me a great idea for my new YouTube channel. It's going to be titled Sean Butler of Spurs YouTube fame. My experiences on Adderall.
Man, I've got some other crazy stories from some of my past, mate. We're not going to talk about that one here, though. Should we watch this video, or have you just explained what it basically was already?
Yeah, let's watch it as well. They're going to tell you more than I've told you.
Okay.
Important things to pay attention to is that you're looking through the laser, not at the diffraction pattern that falls on the wall. So even if you're sitting 2 or 3 feet away, like we're seeing here, you want to be looking at beyond the light, like you're looking through the window versus looking at the surface of the window. Also notice how wide the diffracted pattern of the laser is on the wall. People that choose lasers that produce this thing that just looks like one line, that's not wide enough for you to see anything because you're looking beyond the laser, not at the surface. So it will be too thin, too narrow of a crack to look through, so to speak. You can come closer like this, and I would recommend to cover one eye so the light doesn't hit your cornea. And then you would be looking from the side. From the side is better because you get a separation of the layers inside. You want to stay on this task for a little bit until you start seeing structures emerge. If you still don't see anything, you can actually come to the side of the wall, like so, and try and look at the edge of where the light becomes visible from the side. This weirdly...
Is he saying do this whilst you're on DMT or just do this normally?
Yeah. So the other video, can you play that? Because the other guy in the other video actually explains what he saw when he did it. Because this one he's just talking about how to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, he was using DMT. This one's more of his experience, not how to do it.
Okay.
Experiment with the laser.
I have seen it on Instagram, and I heard you and Danny talking about it. So you've done it.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram and flew Danny to my house right away.
Like, break this down for people, because it got shared amongst my group, and it's like, what the fuck?
Exactly. And that's the only question you're still going to have after you see it.
It doesn't answer any questions. It just invites a lot more.
Yeah, nothing else. There's code. Absolutely, there is code.
So the code's not like spinning there. It's like, it's literally like kind of written out static.
It's static. I can move the laser up and down and see all of the letters, but it's like 3-dimensional. So I can get close to the wall. I can look down inside of the laser that way, and I can look up in the laser that way.
What's your best guess at explaining that?
I would be a fool.
Okay. We can just leave it at that.
Maybe it's a universal consciousness that we're projecting something onto it.
Yeah, but isn't there code in the laser? Isn't that how the lasers work?
But how can he see inside into the wall? It would just be on the surface, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, but like, isn't that how, like, what is a laser? Laser is code, right? It must be some sort of mathematical code that people are putting into some device that then makes this device beam something. It must be code like that, right? So
it's highly concentrated light, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
John, I thought you were coming with the answers.
Above my pay grade.
How am I going to have the answers of all that?
This is like the other day. Well,
Fuck off with the Britney Spears is a claim.
the Britney Spears one, yeah.
I proved that a lot of this Epstein thing is bullshit. And it worked.
That was so funny the other day. Sean, bring this one up about Britney Spears with her being cloned. Okay. Watch the video. That's why I look at the thing. Where did it talk about the cloning in there? I don't know.
It didn't. It's bullshit. So what the guy's talking about is that he can see into the wall. So he's saying that it shows that it's not solid. It's made up of code. You know, like they say in the Matrix, everything is code.
Yeah.
Well, if that with using the DMT has opened up his mind, that he can see the code that's making up the structure of the wall as we know it without our minds blocking it out.
Do you think your code then, John?
Probably.
Everything's math. That's what Epstein said, isn't it? Yeah, you know, everything's math. Everything's math, really. You know, that's not a good accent. I don't know who that was. That was sounding more like Yogi Bear. Hey, boo boo. I'll go and work on my Epstein accent for sure. He's definitely got a little bit of that, though. He's got something going on with it, but that was just Yogi Bear. I just did it. Hey, up, it's a dibble.
My best one ever has got to be. Do you remember Droopy, the old cartoon character, the dog?
Yeah.
He's got to be that one. Hello, my name is Droopy. Like that one. The younger viewers will not know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, no.
Like when you think about it, though, when you get things like thermal imaging or you get like MRI, X-ray scans, what do? They're going right through you. They're going through the body to show the bones. So how do they do that? How do they see through solid matter? So are they decoding? Are they looking through the code?
Marzi can let us know then. What's going on, Marzi? What is it then? What if you sell and repair these laser things every day? What is it? What exactly? How do you actually? You know, what does this laser stuff do?
And have you got off your tits and used one staring at a wall?
Yeah, that's the other part. That's the other part. I'm not sure I want to do DMT just in case someone comes into my house and they see me doing this at the side of the wall.
Could it just be the DMT? Could it just be the like hallucinogenics of the DMT? I've done acid before, and like I had stuff coming out of walls and all sorts of stuff. Like
No, because they're not, when they're not looking at it, it's not showing up.
pass. Got my pay grade, John. Sorry, mate. You're on your own in this one.
Good video though. Good video for sure.
What does Marcy say about it?
He's gonna let us know. He's gonna come back in and let us know. We'll come back to it. Let's have another dig at something else and let's go and see where we're going next, shall we? What's this guy got to say?
The FBI just dumped millions of unredacted or redacted Epstein files on the public and said, you know what? Here you go. Have fun. It's like a scavenger hunt. Like you expect, like it's kind of like a TikTok challenge. Can you find a pedophile? You have the FBI, you have the DOJ, you have unlimited resources, unlimited power, unlimited budgets. This is the biggest sex trafficking scandal in modern history. Billionaires, politicians, royalty, and all hanging out on Pedophile Island. And the US government responds like, hey guys, let the internet figure it out. What is this? A group project? Are you serious? You want me to do your job? You want some guy on Reddit cross-referencing flight logs at 2 a.m. while he's eating Cheetos? Like, you want TikTokers playing a game of Clue? Hey, it was Prince Andrew and having a massage with the undergirl. What is this? It is not the job of private citizens to figure out clues. I don't understand. Is the FBI too busy to do their job? Here's what should have happened. They should have released a name. They should have arrested predators. They should have held the trials. You know, like a functioning justice system, right? But instead you give us 4 million trillion documents with no index, no categorization, redactions everywhere. Then say, hey, good luck with that, guys. Like, let us know if you find anything. Wallahi azim, not even a third world country dictatorship would do that to us. In third world countries, they would release nothing. Keep us in the dark, you know, like a self-respected dictatorship. But this choose your own adventure bullshit, this like figure it out on your own. What kind of service is this? Like, I mean, the government takes half of my money so I can do its job and then sends the other half to Israel. I mean, this is just like dysfunctional.
Little dig at Israel at the end there from that man. He likes a little dig at Israel, doesn't he? What's his name? Do you know what his name is, that guy?
Oh, I don't know. He's a comedian. He's proper funny though. Like I really do like him.
Funny,
yeah, I can't remember what his name is. I'm sure somebody in the chat might know. But did any of you actually see that show, that Piers Morgan Uncensored show? Did you see any of that?
Yeah, I watch it all the time.
Yeah, that particular show, he obviously had Alan Dershowitz, who has been on the Lolita Express and is obviously, you know, frequenter to Jeffrey Epstein, was his lawyer, and also was a lawyer for Mossad and lots of Israelis and all this kind of stuff. And he's like talking out like that, and he just tried to shut him down straight away about, I'm going to sue you for defamation for this and this.
Yeah, he sues everybody. It's part of that, open.
He was the worst person to have next to that guy, because that guy is, you know, talking the truth. You know, what they've done is like release a bunch of documents, redacted any information out that actually makes anybody accountable for any crimes. And then you've got Alan Dershowitz there, who's obviously in a lot of these emails and in a lot of these files, sitting on the other side waiting to interject, and he was just shouting over him. You can see him getting enraged, his, you know, veins in his neck popping out and stuff. This old boy, bless him. But yeah, mate, it was really
Dershowitz is a right weirdo. Apparently, one of the victims who put in, obviously, that like just because there's victim statements or whatever doesn't mean that they're all true, right? But like, if when Donald Trump's like, I'm not in the files, well, you are in the files. There's thousands of different Trump-related emails, but the ones they're just completely ignoring all of the victim statements around what he was into and what they did, saying that, oh, you know, there was some girl who was SA'd, and then Donald Trump threw like $300 said take the morning after pill or whatever, and if you say anything about this, I'll put you in the meat grinder and feed you to the ninth hole, behind the ninth hole of Mar-a-Lago, all this stuff, right? He just ignores all of that stuff because I'm not in the Epstein files. You haven't answered any of those accusations because, you know, that's just, it's hearsay, isn't it? And obviously nothing's ever going to come of them, whether they're true or not, I don't know. But in one of those victim statements, Dershowitz was apparently, the woman said he was so comfortable being around Epstein that he'd often just go into the room where Epstein was getting oral sex from some young girl. They would just like have a conversation, be handing files back and forth. Meanwhile, he's getting noshed off on his bed, and he's probably just signing documents, doing that. Meanwhile, he's getting a nice, you know, like, again, don't know if any of it's true. Allegedly, but it's in the files, and it's like, to have the gall to go on Piers Morgan, just to sit there and continue to defend the indefensible. I find abhorrent personally.
He the thing is like whenever there's a mention of Israel on that show, like he's always the person they bring on, or there's another guy who was a soldier from the IDF. You know, there's the two same representatives always turn up, and like I said, Alan Dershowitz is obviously a well-renowned lawyer, and he knows how to shut people down with, you know, lawsuits and, you know, court jargon and, you know, factualities over hearsay. And like, it seems to be like they bring a guy on like that. His name was it Bassem Youssef? Someone said in the comments. Yeah, that's right. They bring a guy like that on. A lot of people would resonate with what he said there. But, you know, the fact that they had Alan Dershowitz there, you know, against it straight away and butting in, and he was always talking over him. And that was the first point of the video where he didn't actually butt in every 20 seconds, you know, like it's kind of a little bit counterproductive having that kind of like information and someone like counteracting it right in front of you, you know. Good watch, but yeah,
I watch it a lot. It's like the Spurs 5 of political content. Piers Morgan just loves a fucking raging argument for the clickbait value. Teflon, did I hear you say a minute ago you think the whole Epstein files thing is a joke?
Yeah.
You don't believe any of it?
No.
But you don't believe people, young girls were assaulted and stuff, no?
I think it's a distraction from other things. I don't think you'd be getting information out in the public about these people that are well known unless they wanted you to. I think it's part of their plan, part of their agenda.
As in, like, what else is going on whilst this is going on?
Yeah. I just can't see it, you know, because they tell us he was put in prison, then they tell us he was dead, and now we've got these photos of Ghislaine Maxwell, who looks like a completely different person in prison.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, the nose, her nose when she was in prison is more like that, and then now it's like this, and her ears are lower than her eyelids and all that. So I've seen that video as well. Yeah,
Like Diddy, isn't it? You see the photos of him in prison. It's like that's not the same guy. What is this?
I mean, just when you think about this, cost me like £10 or something.
You
know that Joe Biden was. What's that?
You got ripped off.
I think. Well, you don't like it?
Oh, I love it. You could have got it a lot cheaper than.
I'm gonna put it on. I think. But you know that they've got those latex skin masks now, haven't they? Like that. So like, who the fuck knows who's really in prison? Who's these people aren't going to be in. I don't believe Jeffrey Epstein is unalive. I think he's very much alive somewhere. I'm not sure about that the AI videos of him being found in Tel Aviv or whatever. I find that whole thing a little bit.
There's more photos. There's more photos of circuses over the weekend. There's, I think, 3 more photos of it.
But I mean, though, but like no one's seen any pictures of him in the last 5 years, and then as soon as this come out, suddenly there's like 20 pictures of it. Like I'm kind of with John on that kind of idea that like sometimes everything coming out the way it does in the fashion it does, it makes you think, nah, you know. I don't know. Well, where's the new photos? Where can I see them?
I was on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter on X.
New Epstein in Israel pics. Let's have a look.
Tel Aviv. I think John's right. I think this stuff's been happening. I think all this stuff's been happening, but the reason they're letting us know is it's a massive distraction from something else. You know, probably something financial, the economy, obviously all sorts of stuff's going on, and people are distracted with this. So I think I agree with John, but I do think this stuff has been happening for a long time, and they probably all agree that there'll be no accountability that will actually come of it either, which is why all the redactions are in there.
What a lot of truthers are saying is that, they're doing it, they're showing it to normalize it. Well, I don't think any sane person can normalize it. It's not like having a shitty winter, is it, every year where we go, it's pissing down the rain and windy. Every winter, it's always crap. Every year over here, you normalize that. But you're not going to normalize these types of behaviors, are you? And these abuse.
No, but maybe the normalization of it is really just to test how far the people are going to go before they actually get up and march and revolt. Like, I'm surprised that there hasn't been the January 6th type of thing in, you know, Donald Trump could corral 1 million people to turn up because he said that the election was stolen. Yet, you know, 350 million Americans aren't outside the White House saying release everything right now because of, you know, we think that there's horrendous, heinous evil acts, like the most depraved people in the planet are making decisions around what we put into our bodies, what we eat, what we breathe, the air we breathe, the water we drink. Bill Gates owns all the water supplies now in America. He owns 60% or whatever it is through him and those three big companies. They own nearly all of the arable farmland. You know, like the chemtrails thing is clearly happening as well. That's been declassified, and like the weather warfare and the geomodification, and obviously the COVID thing, right? They managed to convince 4 billion people to put an untested vaccine into their arms, and now we know that these people are potentially capable of doing the most heinous acts of known to man, just absolute depraved evil, and yet no one's outside the White House saying enough's enough.
They won't.
Like 1 million people will go and march on a supposed stolen vote, but they won't go and do that. Like, at what point do the American? And I'm just blaming the American bill because it's exactly the same here. To a lesser degree, the fact that the Labour government could make a manifesto pledge that said we're not going to raise taxes, but we've got all these spending plans and fuck the Tories and yada yada yada, and then they get into power and then they lie. Or they tell another lie based on the Office of Budget Responsibility to justify their lie in their manifesto to raise taxes. All the time they're doing all of these things. Last night or the last couple of days ago, they voted 400 to 100 in favor of blocking any investigation into the child rape gang thing. All of that stuff, right? And yet the people, I guarantee you, if I was to walk into any, like ask 100 random people on the street, you know, what do you think about that? Of those people that are aware of it, they're all furious. But are any of them going to do anything about it? No. And so to answer just quickly, John, on your point, like, are they doing it as a distraction method? Possibly, probably. There's always something else going on. I mean, the whole thing with the way that they pass laws in America, if the law is like the Freedom Act or the US Safety Act or whatever else, they put like 100 other things in the bill to get it all done. So like you don't even know what those other 99 acts are, but they're all getting passed in one foul swoop. It's a disgrace, guys. It's a disgrace. Nice. But I think that sometimes they release these things just to test at what point are these fucking idiot human beings going to say enough? And clearly the answer is not yet.
I think I find it quite patronizing, to be honest, because like they passed a bipartisan bill called the Jeffrey Epstein Transparency Act. And if you look at any of these files, there's definitely not transparency by holding over half of them back, blacking out pages and removing the names of culprits. Like, that's kind of a little bit insulting to my intelligence. But one thing that I think of is like, whenever there is like an accusation of governments being involved in conspiracies, such as JFK, for example, or the Diana one in the UK, they lock these files up before, you know, I mean, JFK was locked up in the late 60s, the files, and they've only just released them this year. So most of these kind of like...
They still haven't released them all. There's still things that are redacted in those files, man. It's madness.
The Princess Diana one goes to 2088. So they won't release the files about the Princess Diana stuff that they've all compiled in the UK for another 50 years. So the fact that they've released all this Jeffrey Epstein
stuff... That's mental, isn't it?
That's crazy. But the fact they released all this Jeffrey Epstein stuff like 5 years later, that is probably more damning to the credibility of a lot of these organizations, and it has a lot more damning evidence against all these high powerful people. I find that kind of like a little bit suspicious, you know?
When anyone does a flip-flop, a 180, you know, like the media, like you get Daily Mail saying, oh, COVID vaccines could now be linked to blood clots or heart conditions. That's telling me that, oh, actually, this is part of their plan now, because why has that suddenly come out in the mainstream media? Like a friend of mine, when the vaccines came out, she said people will start rebelling. They will be kicking down the doors on government when children are dying through these vaccines. I said, they fucking won't. They went, yes, they will. That will be the thing that breaks the straw that breaks the camel's back. I said, no, it won't. And you see, still no one has done anything. They don't. Generally, the people will go along with it, because when life looks like it's been given back to them, they appreciate it. And how many other things? I agree on that. Before the lockdowns, before the Epstein thing, how many other things have we put up with that nothing's actually happened? Like the council poll tax riots. What happened? There were some riots and that was it. And it never went anywhere, and we all accepted it and we got on with it, apart from the minority that refused to pay it. But as a collective, we don't do anything. We never
Yeah,
have.
with docile, I think that's part of the thing as well. They've probably been. I think part of probably what was in the COVID thing was to make you more docile, right? Like the fluoride in the water makes you more docile. Like eating bread and carbohydrates and sugar and corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. All of that shit just makes everyone a little bit more numb, a little bit more dopey, a little bit more docile, a little bit more just can't be bothered. And so that they probably sit there and go, I wonder, like, you know, it's a slow drip. It's a slow drip feeder. Like the vaccine's been 6 years now. Let's give them a little something. Let's see how many of them are angry enough, you know, to do something about it. And the answer right now is no. And like I say, if they can convince 1 million people to go from all over the country to go to the Stop the Steal March, but they can't convince 100 people to go and bang down the door of Congress when they are clearly protecting the worst people on the planet, who have the most influence, the most authority, the most power, the most money, and they're still going to be in charge to do what they're going to do to us next. And yet we still can't get people to go and say what we're doing here. I mean, whatever they're doing, it's working. It's clearly working. I mean, it might be the metals that are pumped into the sky that's falling on our crops and what the cows are eating and all that shit. But I think that this world has never before been so tolerant of so much shit being done against them when they're just sitting there, because I think the threat of revolution, like the consequences of a revolution, most people don't really want to live through.
Yeah,
No,
it'd be nice to be on the other side of a revolution, but to actually go through the revolution would be horrendous.
But also, people have been made to look like nutcases if they say anything.
Exactly.
So if someone speaks up, a lot of people, it's weaponized against us because we're told we're lunatics, we're conspiracy theorists, we're paranoid.
Yeah, I don't think that works anymore, though. I think that every conspiracy theorist has been vindicated 1,000 times over. To those people that don't look on Twitter, yeah, not quite flat Earth yet. Flat Earth's the last big one.
Cherry on the cake. That's the cherry on the cake.
Cherry on top. Everyone else, right? But honestly, like in the last 6 years, here's the list of things that have happened to humankind. Right? We know that cloud engineering and the shit out the back of the planet, that the chemtrails is real. Right? Nobody cares. No one does anything. Nothing changes. We know that COVID was a complete psyop that injected and poisoned billions of people. Nobody cares. Nothing changes. No one goes to jail. And like, we just carry on. What was the next one? 9/11. That's basically been outed now as a psyop. Nobody cares. No one's gone to jail. Nothing changes. Epstein Island. People care, but nothing's changing. And no one's going to jail. Aliens have been disclosed. Aliens have been disclosed, right? The biggest question ever. Are we alone? The answer is no. No one cares. Nothing's changed. No one is talking about it. What the fuck are we doing?
Lockdown, social distancing, wearing masks. They've come out and told us, oh, that was all bullshit. You didn't need to do any of that.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
No one goes to jail. Nothing changes.
It's like a protest at a Spurs match, protesting against the owners and the regime, right? You're going to go there, but then you go in there, you're still buying tickets, you're still going in there, buying food and drink in the stadium. So who's the mug? The one who owns it, probably laughing at everyone going, oh, look at them, but they're still coming in here and spending money. That's why I said to people, if you want to really protest, don't go, or go, but don't buy anything in there. Buy everything in the local shops outside.
I think more people are not going to Tottenham now than ever before, but not because they're pissed off with the prices. It's because they don't enjoy the football it's being seen elsewhere. In like Liverpool, Anfield is only at 89% capacity. Anfield, right? You know, Everton's brand new stadium. Sometimes it's 75% full. You know. I don't think it's because of the ownership. I think people that are not going to Tottenham are the same people that aren't going to Liverpool, the same people that aren't going to Everton, the same people that aren't going to Sunderland. Yeah. It's because the cost of going, it's not about fuck the owners. It's just I can't afford the money because these powers that be assholes have raised inflation and all that stuff, and just can't justify it. But it's not out of resentment towards the owners.
No. And I think a lot of people, probably where they've become more aware of things going on, they might have thought, well, fuck this. Like, why am I spending £90 to go and watch football?
Yeah. There's a measles outbreak in North London. So you changed your name, Cat Fund again. Tudor the Eighth, off with their head.
There was a viewer called EDM I saw in their name when they said that demons feed off of negative energy, and the Epstein files are creating negative energy and angering people. I've been saying this for how long? That when people get angry about these things, particularly when nothing's done, you get angry. You might sit at home and you get pissed off about it, but no one collectively does anything. Like all these marches, the lockdown marches, the digital ID marches. People said to me, I was accused by friends of being lazy and ignorant by not going to those lockdown and the COVID marches. And I said to them, what's that going to do? What difference does it make? And they go, oh, well, you should come down, like, you're not getting involved in this and that. I said, okay, if you're going to march on like government, House of Parliament, House of Lords, and go and knock their doors down and drag them out by the ears and throw them in the river, I'm up for that. Cool, let's go and kick some ass.
Allegedly. You don't want to get a naughty knock on the door down little Turkey Cock Lane.
Fuck off.
They kind of like back people into a corner, mate. They informed
like Turkey Cock Lane.
the people that are informed about this stuff, people like ourselves that have actually took the time to learn and sort of uncover these truths, mate. They backed us into a corner because, like, subconsciously we've been given this fear programming of exposing what we know to be true to mass people. And this is where, from the COVID stuff, like if you put stuff on Facebook about it, and you try to warn people and shed enlightenment, you were shut down immediately. Like they're actually throwing people in jail now for talking about immigration issues, like actual jail. Like,
do we know though for a fact, or is that a fear-mongering thing? I don't know anyone myself who has been thrown in jail for talking about stuff. I still think that's a fear-mongering thing to make general public think, shit, I'm not going to say anything that I might get prosecuted.
Also, where's the support for those people? That Lisa, what was her name? Forget her name. The woman who went to jail or allegedly went to jail for like 3 years for hurty social media posts. And there was two guys. One of them, he put up a Facebook post. He literally just reposted something. He reposted something that came from somewhere else that was like anti-establishment or whatever else, and he spent 6 months in prison, And then you've got like,
but do we know that
one of these immigrant blokes who comes in and grapes a fucking 18 like an 8-year-old girl or something, and then uses the defense that where I'm from that's okay, and they gave him 13 months. Like someone else got longer for putting a social media post up.
But
I might be wrong on the specifics on that, but like, what the fuck is going on there?
Does anyone know these people that's actually happened to them?
No. The principle is still the same, though. It's still a fear tactic. Whether or not these people actually go to jail or they're real people,
exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
I think the point is like that. What people like I said ourselves, who are like informed and trying to spread awareness about certain subjects, we're backed into a corner of thinking, okay, if I share this, is there a repercussion that probably wasn't there 20 years ago? Is there like a tension that is
yeah, but that doesn't mean these things aren't happening, right? If everything is not as you seem, then like you can't trust a single thing. And like John, it sounds like you're in the state where whatever happens, you're calling BS on the official story. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the point I'm at now, because it helps me to filter it out and go, I'm not interested in that because it's probably bullshit.
Most of it is.
But do you believe anything that's in the news then? Like, do you believe there's a war in Ukraine?
Not really.
No, I don't either, to be honest.
Look, at the end of the day, if the Russians wanted to go into Ukraine and start a war with them, that place would be fucking leveled within a day.
Yeah, we've been done ages ago.
Have you seen their military exercises? Fuck me.
And it's next door. It's next door.
Exactly. They were just those rocket launchers they've got, those bloody things.
I hear you. I actually agree with that. Like this notion that I see, it pisses me off, right? Like every single time that there's the threat of increased likelihood of war, Like the rhetoric is always the same. World War III is around the corner. We have to therefore give more money to Ukraine, more money to our defense companies, more money, less money for you, less money on NHS. But they've always got the money for the defense companies.
Yeah,
Totally agree with you. Totally hear that. Those people, those companies that are the biggest lobbyists across the world in every Western government and power, those companies don't make money unless they get the government handout. So I hear you. Like, war is big business. But I'm also pretty sure that, like, I've seen plenty of videos of, like 50-year-old men, 45-year-old men driving down the street in Ukraine, and then like army people spot that there's someone that could be capable of fighting, and they'll run them off the road and then arrest them. And
I think
it could be bullshit, but like, I don't know. That's a fucking giant. Like, you'd imagine that there's someone down my road who lives who's from Ukraine. There's a lady down my road, and she said that like her neighbor's son was killed in the first couple of months of the war and all that stuff. So like, I don't know. Because I don't know anyone that's directly affected doesn't mean that it's not happening. Obviously.
Yeah, there is something that's happened there, but it doesn't warrant these huge defense contracts from the UK, from France, from America to be sending billions and billions and billions of pounds worth of artillery that way. Like, it's just a way of them keeping the supply chain going and finding a reason to build and supply weapons. I mean, at the end of the day, these companies and these military industrial complexes, they build weapons every day. If, like I said, there was harmony and peace around the world, they would be stockpiling it and losing money. So they need these problems to exist. It wouldn't shock me if they exaggerate some of these situations like the Ukraine-Russia one, just to justify the contracts, just to justify keep production going.
They might exaggerate it, right? But the other thing I was going to say was, like, when America threatened to pull out of NATO, in that case, then that Europe needs to like treble its this and that. When you look at the actual size of the Russian GDP, how much of it they put towards their own war machine, and the amount of people in Russia that are part of the army, like the current spending of on defense across Europe is like 9 times bigger than Russia's without America's help anyway. Its army, its European wide army is like 8 times bigger than Russia's, and its total GDP is also like 8 times bigger than Russia's. Again, not accurate on the specifics of those ratios, but like it's that sort of, it's like 6, 7, 8, 9 times bigger. And that's without America. So like this notion of like, oh, America might be pulling out, therefore we need to triple our spend to cover the gap. Well, you don't really, because we should have enough between the other 18 nations. In terms of, is there a war and stuff though, by the way, guys, I've got to be honest, I totally disagree with you. I think there is a big one there. And I think that Russia, and I don't necessarily think that Russia is always the aggressor. They might have been the people that went into the Crimea or whatever, but there's a lot of history in that region and a lot of things that happened under Obama in 2014. But I think that NATO are pushing themselves towards them more than them pushing themselves back. And I think that they've just got to a point where Putin's gone, enough's enough. I'd also say that I'm not defending Putin at all, but he does talk about the kind of the sort of Satanism within the Western democracies and power plays.
Yeah.
And I believe that those things are true as well. I don't. If you actually listen to him speak, he doesn't say things that are entirely outrageous at all. It's just that the PR, the propaganda that's fed to us all day long is that he's the bad guy, he's the most dangerous guy alive. And I think that there's just as much to argue that the people that represent us in power and the rest of Europe and America, etc., are just as dangerous, just as cutthroat, just as evil as anyone else.
Remember,
do you remember in the old Bond films that was going on since the 60s?
Yeah.
The old Cold War, the threat from Russia, it was always like Bond against some Russian spy or whatever. So that's always been the narrative, that they're the enemy, particularly when it went into communism. And it was a threat to, American life, wasn't it? Communism, it's not our way of life, so we're going to hate it and we want to destroy it.
Remember, Vladimir Putin was one of the first graduates of the WEF, Leaders of the Future program.
Yeah.
So, it's very hard.
He's part of it. He's part of it as well. But they're definitely potentially there.
So potentially you're seeing a pantomime play out, I think, as well.
For sure. The Punch and Judy show.
He'll probably be the one eventually in this whole movie that people will say, oh, he was right. Look what he was telling us about the West and about America and so on and so on. he was right. He was made out, and Russia were made out to be the bad guys. But look what Ukraine were doing. They were trafficking. They were doing this. They were doing that. Look what they were doing with the money, laundering it.
Oh, for sure.
It will probably come out in later on in the movie, 20 years time or whatever, who knows what, could be when we're no longer around, and people will go, oh yeah, it's right, yeah. And it will be all part of the agenda. It's all part of the fucking story. That's why I don't believe in any of it.
Johnny, let me ask you this then. How do you, if you're at the point where it doesn't matter what comes out, good news or bad news, you think it's part of the narrative? Do you just see the whole resistance thing is futile then? Do you just see it like it's only going one way, which is towards that totalitarian thing, and there's absolutely no chance? We might as well just give up and like just accept defeat. Is that where you're at? Because it seems like you're a little bit despondent with any.
No, I'm not despondent. To me, it's good to be more aware of it, because then you've got a choice what you believe in, whether you believe in like the good against evil, or you believe that they're all just two parts of the same coin. You know, like one political party against the other. When people argue about, oh, this one's right, that one's wrong, they're all in it together. So I just look at it from a distant point of view, and I don't watch any media, don't watch any news, don't read newspapers, because I'm not got any interest in it, because it's all stories that are narrative. You just
but do you think though? But I'm saying, but do you, like, are you at the point where even if I don't know, even if Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were sent to trial for crimes against children, right, in a year's time, just say something like that happened.
Yeah.
Would you be like, oh, that's not really them? They're wearing a face mask. It's nothing ever happens.
Yeah,
it's all just for show.
Scapegoats.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, so you're at the point then where it doesn't matter what happens, what's in the news. It's all bullshit. There's no good news.
Yeah.
There's nothing to get excited about.
Yeah, we were told that with that Q, you know, all the Q stuff for years about Trump's the savior, Q is the military, and the military are running the show, and then we were told, you know, Trump's going to stay in for a second term, and he's going to clear out all the deep state, the cabal, all these, you know, PDF files and all this and that. And then he didn't get in, did he? Again. And then we were told, oh, this is all, you know, this is all part of the movie, and it's got to be this way. And then he got back in again, and what happened? What's he done?
Yeah, nothing's changed. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on all of that. But like, you have to have a little bit of hope that at some point the people are going to rise up, right? And if it does rise up, if there is suddenly 1 million people marching outside, you know, Washington DC saying release everything now, or we're going to go into meltdown, like both sides, right? Like it. Like, as much as I saw it on an Instagram comment on a post, but I've got to do some super chats in a minute because there's a very, very generous super chat from someone I need to. I'll come to that in just a second. But like, I saw someone on the someone on like on an Instagram post saying, "Yeah, guys, we can all get back to like bickering with each other about, you know, inane bullshit, whether you're left wing or right wing, whether you're black or white, whether you're, you know, old or young, whatever. We can all get back to that in a little while. But at some point, we've really got to come together and like, you know, have a go here." And I just feel like that, to me, I hear what you're saying, John, around like, you know, if the noise is coming from the top, you can't expect the top to ever, you know, like the snake doesn't eat itself on that sort of, on this one, right? So like you can't ever expect them to figure it out for us. So the only way we're ever going to get any kind of sort of, I don't know, karmic justice on this, retribution, whatever, is it has to come from bottom up, right? But until then, I hear you on the fact that if the solutions to the problems at the top are coming from the top, then you're never going to get anywhere. Totally agree with you. It's all going to be part of a game. But I still have a little bit of hope that at some point people are going to wake up and say, we've got to take back this planet's control from these bloody reptiles.
Yeah, but that has to be a collective, and then that has to be, right, if you do that, then the right decisions have got to be made. If that's part of their plan, that there's this big reset that everyone says, right, okay, we can't have this anymore. We've got to get rid of these politicians, these royal families, these people, these so-called elites and whatever they are, and they all get exposed, and we go, right, we got to sort all this out. What if that's part of their plan? This is what a lot of theories are saying, that this could be part of their plan to wipe the slate clean for another reset. So now they go, right, we're going to do
Okay.
all these things now.
I'm happy for there to be a reset,
Not
mate.
only
I think that this current like our generations that are alive right now, I don't think we deserved many more chances. You know, I'm happy to roll the dice, and I think there's something that's going to happen after this realm. You know, so I don't fear death because I think that there'll be something else afterwards. And even if there isn't, all right, you won't know about it anyway. But for me, like, I don't know, man. This group of people that are put together right now, most of us, the majority of us as a population, are fucking pussies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's not enough
absolutely.
men. That's it. That's the problem. There's not enough men out there. That's what the issue is.
Well, that's what's been working towards, that you destroy the strong people in every nation, so then they're subservient.
Yeah. They've been attacking men's families, their finances. You know, like I think a reset makes sense because from a sort of financial point of view, like everything is bubbled. So the financial markets are bubbled. The economies are debt to the eyeballs. You know, the commodity markets are all-time highs. You know, it all points into the direction that, you know, something needs resetting. You know, so I think it ties into the economy. So it wouldn't surprise me if it did a full reset across the board. But I wanted to just throw one thing in there before it gets outlawed down the line.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin is cool. I'm going to just leave it out there for the future so we can revisit this. And I'll put it in now. So when I say it again in the future, I can say, no, I said this before.
A little while ago. Yeah. I was early on the Putin was right thing. Yeah.
Putin is cool. Putin is cool. He fights with bears. He looks after animals. He's got 1.2 billion population. I've got no problem with him. Just throwing it out there.
I think a lot of them have got a problem with him, but they're just a little bit scared to say it. Kind of like what we're at, right? Where we're at, or where we will be if we don't wake up. I think there's very few people that are in the kind of like the rest of us realm where you know you're never going to be able to go anywhere without looking at the price tag. At some point, the price tag is going to be a problem. There's very few people that are in that kind of the 99% who don't have a problem with the powers that be. It's just like they've mastered the art of letting you have enough rope, you know, giving you enough opportunity, giving you just enough, and then taking it away, and then giving you a little bit of it back, but not all of it back, and then a little bit more time, everyone gets comfy again, and then taking it away, and then a little bit back, and it's just like a little kind of slip. What do they call it? Like a tip-tap-toe to totalitarianism, you know? A little bit of alliteration for you there. Let's do some super chats, guys, because I haven't done them yet. Big up to James. Big up to James 119. Choo choo to you, mate. Our first ever super sticker to a super chat, and I haven't got the choo choo noise for you to do it. I need to get that done. Choo choo to you, buddy. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for your support. Chew to the 8th off with their head says, big up, fellas. Great to see you all. Great to see you as well, Cap Funt, mate. I hope you're okay. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very, very cool, guys. And then this one here from GTE403. Wowzers. First and foremost, thank you so much. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. So generous. Second of all, I don't know. I've definitely recognized your icon. I recognize your icon, but I don't feel like I recognize you. Have you changed your name or are you new around these here parts, my man? But either way, thank you so much. Maybe you're from the Spurs community. I'm not sure, but I definitely recognize your flame skull icon. But I don't recognize your name. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much. He says, just look at how many crowd emergencies there's been since the vaccine. Nearly everyone had something to do with the heart. 100%. Yeah, in that like year, as soon as they got back the crowds back, right, the 21-22 season, it was mental, wasn't it? Every week there was a crowd emergency with someone. Sergio Aguero had to end his career early because of a heart condition. Simon Jordan was shut down for trying to bring it up. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot to this actually. The crowd emergencies actually happen a lot more regular. They've just kept it quiet. Like I was actually watching the Espanyol versus Celta Vigo game, I think like yesterday. And like before the game, there was like, oh yeah, one of the players died in pre-season from a heart attack. I'm like, you know, James Van Der Beek. I don't know if you are Dawson's Creek lovers from when we were kids, but he died at 48 yesterday. He
died a couple of days ago, didn't he? Yeah. He had
bowel cancer, I think I said it was.
Bowel cancer, yeah, he had something, something unfortunate.
But he was part of the initial program to go back into work. There was like an agreement with the Actors Association, the Actors Guild, the first lot of people that could go back into filming after the COVID kind of calmed down a little bit. It was, you have to be vaccinated, you have to be vaccinated. And another thing you'll notice as well is, has anyone noticed the amount of defibrillators that are everywhere? They're in the back of all the police cars, in every shopping centre here. You know, they're everywhere. Like I've noticed so many of them here, and you never saw any of them before. But defibrillators everywhere. Is that a thing
Yeah.
in the UK? Is that a thing in the UK when you go into one of the supermarkets, you see defibrillators at the front door?
Yeah, I think it is.
Etc.
I'm not sure if it's. I think it might have become like part of law if you have an establishment that has, you know, more than 50 members of the public or whatever. Like I know that when I was in where was I? I forget where I was. I think I was in like a conference room or something, conference center somewhere in Guildford about a year ago. There was like I was in, it was like an amphitheater. It's like a small amphitheater thing where they do theater and they do other things, and they have to have these things at the back. And I remember saying like, you know, what's the need? And they say, I think there's a rule now that if you operate a business or a room or a venue that has more than 50 people from the public any one particular time, then you have to have these things now. So it might be law, but it's either way, 100% since COVID. There's been a massive influx in all these problems. I noticed it as well. GTE is insane, and obviously now they're talking about like now it's just open, you know, conversation. Yeah, there's a higher chance of what was that thing? What was the inflammation of the heart called? Carditis, something ditis. I forget the name of it, but basically, yeah, where your heart's inflamed.
Myocarditis.
That's it. Good man. You got a good memory, didn't you, mate? Not like me. My alcohol brain is just killing all those fibers every slurp I go through, but I don't mind. Myocarditis, yeah, it's clearly a thing, and now they just talk about it. Yeah, if you took the vaccine, you've got a slightly enhanced chance of myocarditis. Oh, thanks. So you fucked my heart, and that's the only organ in your body that doesn't heal, right? You could drink as much alcohol as you want, and if you catch it before you get any scarring on your liver, then your liver will repair itself, right? Your kidneys can heal themselves to some degree. Your muscles obviously can repair and get stronger, but your heart, no. You do damage to your heart's always damaged, you know?
Yeah.
So
the thing that annoys me is that they've done it obviously on false pretenses, but they've targeted children as well. Like one thing I noticed as well is there was a big targeting of underage males, like minor males that were actually targeted with like the most programming into receiving this. Like where my mum lives in just outside London, one of her neighbours lost two of her kids. One was 11 and one was 14. Both of them died within a year of each other from the same myocarditis issue. It's just a lot of people don't talk about it. They're scared to talk about it, or they're scared to associate it to, you know, the program that happened. But that
mate, I'm convinced that my dad lost his kidney to cancer because of getting every shot that they asked, every booster. He was getting boosters like every couple of months. He was still getting flu. I never ever saw a man who was relatively as healthy as he was, and then just like he was and his kind of like, and I love him to pieces, but his conditioning to the social programming was just so peak. Well, I'd be like, Dad, you got flu again. This is before he got sick, right? But I was like, you got flu again? Come on, Dad. Like, how many of these fucking jabs? He goes, oh, I had my 7th booster. He's all proud. I got my 7th booster today. And you got flu.
Yeah.
So does it not ring true that maybe, just maybe, it's not protecting you and that it's fucking you up? He's like, well, imagine how bad I would be if I didn't have them, Sean. I was like, oh my God, they've got you.
That's the usual program response.
Yeah.
Like my uncle, he has flu jabs, he has COVID jabs. And he said to me, well, there's nothing wrong with me. He's not caused me any problems. He's got fucking Parkinson's and diabetes.
Yeah.
Like that's not without being, you know, ill, is it? If you've got those things. Yeah, I've got a cousin who has the flu jabs every year, and you can guarantee he had the COVID jabs. Since the flu jabs, he's got severe lung problems. He has to use this device every night to get the shit out of his lungs. But they won't put the pieces together because they're not meant to. Some people are here, they're not meant to.
Yeah.
You know,
they've created new terminologies. Like the one I hear a lot is turbo cancers. Like that's not a thing. Like that's a new thing they've come up with. You know, like people just caught on to, oh yeah, turbo cancer this, turbo cancer that. It's sad and it's scary, but it's not a turbo cancer. It's some sort of type of infiltration from the nanoparticles that are building up in people's bodies quickly. You know, like stage 4 turbo cancer from someone that's 35 years old and 5 vaccines deep. You know, it's
and that's the thing though, right? But like, what happened to all of the people that like they've all still got their jobs? They're all shameless. They are all like Piers Morgan Oh, you know, I changed my mind. I changed my mind on COVID. Oh, did you? But whilst you had your initial, you told everyone that they were a CUNT for not getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
Right. GMB. Suzanne. What's her name?
Reid.
Susanna Reid. I mean, she's a pretty tasty bird for her age and stuff, and I would. But I mean, sorry, love. You need to apologize. No one apologized. No one did anything for sticking to the script, and they're still on screen. And the next time something, and they'll pretend like that never happened. And the next opportunity they'll get, they'll still tell you how to feel about something. They'll still tell you that you're outrageously racist for thinking that there's, you know, that what Jim Ratcliffe said, for example, or that maybe, just maybe, how about we don't spend another 500 million quid on Ukrainian war when we have people that are homeless in this country and we haven't got any houses, and the heating bills have gone up 1,000 quid, and then they spin the story to saying we've given you £150 pay cut. I was supposed to be grateful. Go fuck yourself and go fuck you if you are someone who works in the media and you push those narratives because the sponsors that you don't ever disclose or acknowledge are. I think there should be a law that says that they should disclose exactly where they get their funding from, not just from advertising, but the ones that you don't actually see the advertising of, like the GlaxoSmithKlines, that are basically there saying, we'll give you 100 grand. You don't have to say we're sponsored by Glaxo, but you don't ever say a bad word about Glaxo. You don't ever say a bad word about this and that. Those things are 100% happening, and there's absolutely no consequences for the deceit, the dishonesty, the lack of trust, and the gaslighting, and the way that they shame people who see through it. And then everyone's right, but you're not giving any apology. No, has anyone said to you, I'm sorry I called bullshit. I'm sorry I called you a fucking conspiracy theorist. I'm sorry I made you feel like you're a fucking donut. I'm sorry I made you feel like you're a crazy person. No one's ever said sorry to me. No one's ever said sorry to me.
We don't need apologies around here. I won't accept them anyway. But yeah, one thing that I think the reality will kick in for people is if they ever get to a point of doing an investigation into these doctors that administered a lot of these vaccinations in the UK or wherever, you'll need to check their financial records. And when you start seeing these doctors get an extra 6 to 20 grand a month on their mediocre salaries, you'll see this huge increase of funds that will come through their bank. And then they'll have to just like describe why they've got this huge, you know, commission, if you like, from a pharmaceutical company based out of the Bahamas or some nonsense, you know, and then they're going to have to say, well, yeah, I was here, I actually had to just meet quota. And that's where the real crime is here, because these doctors have actually neglected the well-being and the interest of their patients, you know, for a little bit of money. But until they get to the point of actually showing people this information, like, I think a lot of people will go with the narratives. And
they still don't want to know, mate. It rocks their worldview. And this is the latest thing with it. I know Johnny doesn't believe in it necessarily, but like, we should all be okay with the idea that even if some of the Epstein release thing is like there's no consequences for it in terms of actual outcomes, but like, we should all probably sort of shake hands with the reality that the billionaire class, the elites, these people that are on the board of, you know, the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations and the World Bank and all of these people that are on that thing that you don't really know, you don't really see. They're not the public facing politicians, they're the people behind the scenes. That these people are the sort of people that talk about pizza to a disproportionately high level, that talk about torture videos, that talk about doing these things, that go on hunting parties. Like, that to me is no longer a conspiracy. And I do think, though, that 75% of the people who are just walking around the street in your local Safeways or Tesco's, they might have gotten wind of it, but the only version of the wind that they're getting is that Prince Edward, or whatever his name is. Was it Prince Edward? No, who's the guy? Prince Andrew, sorry. That Prince Andrew, you know, maybe had sex with a 17-year-old. And to be entirely honest, yeah, that's not great. It's not cool for a 45-year-old bloke to do that, of course, but it's not quite the same as the 4-year-olds and the 2-year-olds and the you know, the kind of the things that we know is really happening out there. There's levels to that sort of stuff, but yet the media will just have you believe that it's Prince Andrew being a bit of a dirty old git, but you know, that's the sort of tip of the iceberg, and that's all that the average person on the street knows, and it's probably all they want to know, because I don't think that most people would ever, like, the idea would be so abhorrent to them, it would be so anti their worldview that they just couldn't get their head around the fact that there's actually a ridiculously disproportionately high amount of people that are weird PDF files that are into some absolutely abhorrent, ritualistic abuse. And that for every 100 people in the street or every 1,000 people you meet in the street, maybe one in 1,000 people would do that. But in the billionaire class, it's probably like 50%. And those people are making the decisions around how much tax you pay, where it goes, what you do with your money, whether you're allowed to eat steak, whether you're going to eat insects and be happy. You'll own nothing. Those are the people that are doing that, and then also telling us how to live. And I think most people don't want to know. They don't want to face that realization, because it would shake their worldview that they've been lied to their entire life.
Yeah. Someone mentioned something in the chat there as well on this particular subject. One of the things that has to happen is there needs to be an investigation into the large contract with the pharmaceutical companies with the UK government. There was one in particular for midazolam, which is one of the prescribed medications that was given out to a lot of people in nursing homes. Also one called remdesivir. And they was combining these two crazy drugs with morphine, and it was basically just stopping these old people actually functioning. And it looked like it put them in like a end of life scenario, if you like. It made them just basically just shut down. But the investigation needs to go into the people like Matt Hancock that have signed these huge contracts with these pharmaceutical companies and provided these and administered these in these nursing homes and killed off large percentage of our grandparents' generation, mate. It's absolutely scandalous. The whole thing from top to bottom, like it will be the biggest scandal of all time, but we're still at the infancy of it being exposed at this point, which is sad. But at least we're allowed to talk about it now. A couple of years ago, if you said these things on YouTube or Facebook, YouTube's gone down, Facebook's gone down, blocked, you couldn't talk about it, to a point where it was so controlled, the information. But yeah, midazolam, remdesivir combined with morphine, dead. Scandalous. And they paid so much money in contracts, mate. The amount of stuff they was giving out, even this day, they're still giving out remdesivir in nursing homes in over quantities. Like the amount of quantity you're allowed to give this stuff out, they're still overdosing people in these nursing homes today on this stuff. I've got 2 grandparents in nursing homes that are being subjected to this kind of nonsense. It's scandalous, mate, top to bottom. The whole thing. It makes me feel
absolutely
sick.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of their not allowing people into nursing homes, wasn't it, to see their relatives? So you didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
with them.
yeah. I remember seeing these when kids got sick, and then the hospital was saying you can't go in to say goodbye. So like some 12-year-old boy is dying of, COVID, the reactions to whatever. And his parents aren't allowed in to hold his hand as he's leaving this plane. Like the kid must, and there's thousands of these, right? And they must have been absolutely terrified. And all they want is their mum and their dad to be there to say, "I love you. It will be okay."
It's horrible. So evil.
Friends of mine, their dad went into hospital. He was ill. It was in lockdown times, and they phoned in, see how he was, and they said, "Oh, he's got COVID." They said we tested him like when he first came in, and it was negative. And they went, well, he hasn't got it off of us. Must have got it in there. So they said, where is he? I said, oh, he's in the COVID ward. So Jill said, right, I'm going to come in and bring him some clothes and bits and pieces. So she went into the hospital. It was a ghost town. There was no one in there. And she said, oh, I'm here to see my dad. He's in the COVID ward. And a member of staff pointed the direction, like, oh, it's up that way, up that corridor, turn right. And you'll see the sign on the doors. So she got up there, she knocked on the double doors, someone opened the door, and she went, oh, I've got some things for my dad, like, can I hand them to you? And they went, yeah, you can go in. And she went, yeah, but I'm not wearing a mask or anything. And they went, oh, that's all right, just go straight in, you'll find him. And I told people that who believed in COVID, thinking they might have thought, oh, that's a bit suspicious, isn't it? That's a bit strange. I didn't actually say, oh, COVID, I think it's bullshit. It's, complete scam. But I thought, let's drop a little seed. No one said, oh, that's weird, isn't it? A killer disease, killer virus, that's dangerous, that you are told you've got to wear a mask everywhere you go and social distancing. It's like walking into a leper colony, isn't it? If that's the case, fucking people in there that have got it. Yeah. You could come out, it could kill you, and you could spread it to everyone else. But no, they went, oh yeah, just go in and give it to him. So people didn't call the bullshit on it then. But now more and more people are coming out with understanding that it was bullshit. But no, what my friend said at the time about, oh, you wait till children start dying, people are going to riot, they're going to go after, you know, the politicians and all this and that. No, it's not happened. It won't happen.
No.
It won't.
No.
Too many people in this world are, they're not meant to be that way. They're the majority. They're not.
Mate, I saw all this stuff coming absolute mile off. When they started talking about the cases, like the cases, before they even mentioned a vaccination or anything like this, I literally told all my circle, my friends, family, loved ones, I was like, this is about a vaccination. Do not take this fucking vaccine. They're like, what are you talking about? Don't be stupid, you conspiracy theorists. 6 months later, they're fast tracking a vaccination to give everybody in the world. I'm like, look, I've told you this before it even become apparent. This is what they would. This is the plan. And like some listened, some didn't. You know, like some kept the secret. But I saw it coming.
Yeah, listen, I wish I'd never take. I had to take it for work to travel, but yeah, biggest mistake in my life. I never felt the same afterwards. I was going to say quickly. We spoke about COVID there, so big up to GTE for that. Very, very generous. I think my computer's going really slow all of a sudden. Big up to GTE. The hackers are back, and they don't like the conversation. My phone is really. Yeah, my thing. Big up to you, my man. Very generous, buddy. Very generous. Should we change? Pace here and go for something else. Have we got something else to talk about?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I can probably do one more video, mate, and I've got to call it a night because I've got an really early start in the morning. It's obviously quite late here, so I can do one more video with you, and then I'm gonna.
Yeah, no, we'll round off. We'll round off, mate. We'll round off. All good, all good, buddy. Let's have a look. See where we're gonna go. What's this?
There is a jellyfish, like, you know the one I'm talking about. It looks like it's. What's the name of that one,
That's
Jim?
the jellyfish UAP.
Can you pull up jellyfish UAP?
That's the weirdest one to me. And that was, by the way, I've been public about that. That was filmed at a CIA base.
Look at that.
Within a base.
Wouldn't you say that even though it doesn't have the lenticular shape, it still has that kind of underlying whatever the branches or whatever the fuck that is, tentacles?
I don't think they're similar. I think it's a different type of craft. And let me tell you why.
Good Lord, that of all of them, that's the creepiest one to me, man. That horrific.
Yeah, people have tried to say like this is balloons, but then other people have taken, by the way, it doesn't move, it's stiff. And the thing is, people have shown what balloons look like through this thermal camera. They look like, guess what? They look like fucking balloons.
Right.
So, and this jellyfish thing, by the way, it's not the first time I've seen footage of it. Couldn't release the other. The other that passed in front of mine and George's eyes, it was at a nuclear facility in this, between a nuclear weapons silos. It came down and it went through like a gated kind of corridor, and it was almost identical to this, and it went through like a reconnaissance and then shot off.
Wow.
So the thing is, that was at a nuclear facility. That is highly illegal. I could never obtain or release that. But this, because it was leaked from a CIA facility at a base, and other people knew about it, multi-sourced this shit, and they actually admitted that it was filmed there. They're not admitting what this is. We were able to release this, but this is different than what we're seeing in the other one.
Okay.
What we're seeing in the other one looks more dome.
I want to show you a different one. There's one about this liquid UFO. Oh, sorry, liquid robot is what I was trying to find. That's the different one, but I can't find it now. So I'll do it.
The one that looks like a jelly.
That yeah. I'm see if I can find it here. Is it here?
In my memoirs about who paid Hitler.
There are hundreds of people being cloned in underground facilities in Australia and in some parts of the United States. They can make a...
I haven't seen that one, but it sounds good. Do you want to watch it? Because Johnny Boy, because you're a British...
Oh.
No, but I saw him.
Because he says Britney Spears. They've got him.
We've said too much, mate. They cut him off. They cut his internet off. All right, good night.
The jelly robot has overtaken him.
Yeah. What do you think about that UAP? What do you think about that UAP thing? Because I've seen something like that actually over Mount Tibidabo in Barcelona, and it looked like it looks like a person like on a jetpack, and then it kind of like it's like cloaked with like a technology. I've actually seen that flying in and out of the mountains. Do you think that's actually like? Do you think it's a person? Do you think it's like a craft? Do you think it's some sort of type of like device, like a drone?
It reminds me of that thing. Have you seen the Star Wars film, The Empire Strikes Back, when they're on the ice planet?
Yeah, of course.
Where it's got like tentacles and it's a droid, like I don't know. I think it's like a reconnaissance droid or something. Reminds me a bit of that. But yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because it's not something you can make out. There's no like texture or anything to it. It sort of blends. Yeah, it's like it's been cloaked. It's like blending into everything that's around it on the environment.
Yeah, it's very strange, mate. Again, I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but yeah, mate, it seems like we lost Sean.
Yeah. Oh, it's our show now.
It's our show
do
now.
what we like.
Right. Let's change the direction. I'm not leaving now. Actually, it's taken over 20 minutes.
Yeah. Now Sean's gone. We got the spotlight on us.
Go on,
So
mate.
what are we going to talk about now? Can we bring a video up, or does that have to be Sean that does that?
Yeah, Sean's got the videos, mate. He's got all the buttons and controls and stuff. I'm still familiarising my one with it. I actually was going to talk about the COVID stuff on one of my next videos, to be honest. So I'm glad that subject come up, because I'm going to see a lot of people in the comments here are obviously like all over that. You know, it's a scandalous topic, mate. But yeah, that's one I really want to get into and cover. And I think a lot of people need to be informed about a lot of stuff that's going on with that. So
sorry about that.
Get over to your channel pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm building you know, well, you know, my whiteboard is filled with pages of documents and stuff like that. I'm trying to build out a structure so it actually flows quite nicely and point people in the right direction of it all. But I'm glad that topic come up. Thank you, that person that gave the super chat.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Sorry about that. I was wondering why my computer was running slow. It was because it was on 1% battery and the battery charger hadn't been plugged in.
I thought the subjects we were talking about is quite coincidental that you just blacked out and disappeared. I was like, oh.
Yeah, they can't.
And that was it. You were off.
Well, do you want to do that last video, and then we'll go?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
There are hundreds of people being cloned in underground facilities in Australia and in some parts of the United States. They can make a George Norrie in about 8 years from baby to you.
Okay.
The problem is the brain cannot grow that fast as the body can.
What happens to the human soul, Emery, in this kind of situation? Does the clone have a separate soul? We've all heard about cloning, but what if you or your friend or someone you met is a clone? Would you even know it? Welcome to Cosmic Disclosure, Emery Smith. Hi, Emery. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, George. Thanks for having me.
These clones, that could be just about anything, all walks of life. They could be ETs. They could be humans that are cloned. What do we know about that?
Well, cloning's been done before I even came along. They've been cloning animals for quite a while, and in the hybrid programs that I was associated with, they were cloning not only species like plants and animals, but they were also regenerating tissues of extraterrestrials and growing them and then cloning them. And then they started cloning humans a very long time ago. It's interesting now that in the news, after talking about this a few times, that now they're coming forward. China just has been doing it forever, but in their underground facilities, cloning people and cloning, of course, you heard about, they cloned their first primate. And hey, they can clone a primate. This verifies what I'm talking about, but they can definitely clone a human. And they're also growing humans for organs. And, there's a big controversy behind this. But clones are everywhere. Human, extraterrestrial, they're wandering all over. Some people will refer to these as doppelgangers because they can grow a human to look like someone and mind program and implant them with circuitry and things like this. And they will really think they had this life and implant them into a business or into whatever organization they want. And if many times you'll be walking down the street, you'll hear people say you could look this up online, man, this person looks just like me.
Sure.
Like, why is that? How did they get there? And they have no idea that they're probably were part of this cloning.
I mean, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but this clone. 25 years I have been trying to grow a new hurricane. This clone.
Did you see Britney Spears in that, Sean? Was she cloned? Did that show her?
She was in there.
Imagine if she'd have turned up doing a fucking dance when she's got all like the Alice Cooper eyes and all that.
Yeah. Not quite as hot.
Not for me. I don't know how many people are familiar with the
I cloned you again.
I don't know how many people are familiar with the subject, but I think cloning's been going on a lot longer. They tell us. Like, I think the first like public information was Dolly the sheep and stuff like that. But if you've ever gone back into the like history books, look into the Cabbage Patch Kids. Like, we probably know them.
Remember that?
Yeah, the Cabbage Patch Kids. They was actually cloning in the like late 1800s, like loads of children, like loads of them, putting them on orphan trains, shooting them around the countries, repopulating cities. You know, this technology has lasted for a lot longer than I think we're aware of.
She could change that, couldn't she, to oops, they cloned me again. I'm not in the Epstein
I'm
files.
not a clone, not yet a woman.
Sorry for that. I kind of feel sorry.
You've been on the Adderall since you left the screen.
Yeah, just a quick cheeky bump of Adderall, and I'm back in the game. We're going for another couple of hours. Good times. Listen, Nikos, you got to go, mate. It's 20 to 12, so we should probably round off. Massive thank you to you, Nikos. Massive thank you to my man Teflon John, and we will be back. I'll be back here Tuesday. Nikos, when you doing your next live, mate?
I'm going to do one in the week. Kid's got his first football practice with the professional club on Tuesday night, so I'm trying to be free. But I think I'm probably going to do something on Wednesday or Thursday when I've got a bit more time on my hands. So probably Wednesday, Thursday. Like I said, I'm compiling I think a C-19 one, but I'm still like the terminology and the words. I don't want to get the channel shut down on something controversial. Like someone mentioned in the chat there, you know, I'm quite well versed in Tartaria, mud floods. I want to do a show on that kind of stuff.
You'll be okay to say what you want until you get monetized. I don't think they pay attention until you get into the partner program, so you can say whatever you want.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe it's the right,
before you get monetized, mate.
Yes, maybe it's the right time to do that before it comes to a point of revenue and stuff like that. Then, but yeah, I want to talk about all this stuff, and I've got so much stuff to talk about. I'm just not quite sure the safest ways to go about constructing the catalog, you know. But whichever one it is, whichever one of these episodes comes up next, but you know, the whiteboard is filled out. It's filled out. We've got loads of stuff going on.
Got the whole. Do something on Kurt Cobain. What about Kurt Cobain? What's the Kurt Cobain thing?
Some people think he's not dead. You know, obviously the links between Courtney Love and Jeffrey Epstein and stuff like that. There's lots of different stuff going on with Kurt Cobain right now.
Kurt Cobain's in the Jeffrey Epstein files, is he?
No, his partner, Courtney Love.
She's in there. She was a bit of a weirdo, wasn't she? She was definitely drinking blood and things. I think.
Yes. She reminds me a bit of like what's been going on with that Erica Kirk. You know, like she seems like the widow. You know, that's rose to stardom off the back of someone's death. You know, like there seems to be a lot of.
You've got to sacrifice someone if you want fame and fortune. You know.
Yeah.
That's what they say. What they say.
I remember years ago, one of my mates like randomly mentioning like that he fancies Courtney Love. I was like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? Like,
Teflon. You know, on a Spurs talk show, random show that I did because there was nothing much to talk about, so we ended up having a few drinks and going off on one. I asked people who was their weirdest. You know, like when you're growing up, you got like a top 5 hottest celebrity.
I remember you saying that on that show, and someone said Shamima, whatever.
Shamima Begum. Someone said the girl from one of those girl bands that she was absolute. Was it Mucha? I think her name is Mucha.
Oh yeah, and
we were playing the top 5 weirdest. Who is the weirdest girl in your top 5 list? And she might a now one or a previous one. And some of the names that were coming up. Someone was saying Susan Boyle or whatever her name is.
No, seriously.
I'm attracted to her voice. It was me.
Right, on that note, I think we should close the show.
Yeah, we're gonna go now. We're gonna go. Big up to everyone for coming in. Thanks again for the super chats. Please do smash the love and smash the subscribe. Even don't smash the love. That's weird. And don't forget to subscribe here to Nikos's tinfoil transmission. Whoever, give him some support over there. Big up to you, Johnny boy. As soon as you come up with your channel, mate, we're going to be plugging you to death as well, my man. That sounds weird as well. Big up to you all. You'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow morning for the Spurs talk show. I'm out tomorrow afternoon and then back with the Spurs fight tomorrow evening, and then we'll be back here on Tuesday. So we will see you then. Love everyone.
Bringing back the Bugsy walks
as soon as it stops raining, mate.
It's rained every day this year in England. Every single day.
It's insane, mate. Like I walk around parks, obviously, all over here, the golf course and all that sort of stuff. It's just sodden. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. So taking a camera out when you've got Bugsy being the way she is, but yeah, I'll bring them back. I'll bring them back maybe in the spring. So yeah, big up to you all. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe out there, Ramblers, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.